Hey everyone, it's Dr. Kelly Peterson. I'm also known as the Belly Whisperer. I'm a physical therapist that specializes in pelvic, visceral, and orthopedic physical therapy. As you can see, I'm out on a walk. I just did mommy and baby yoga, and baby girl fell asleep in the car. So we are always following the rule of do not wake a sleeping baby. So here we are, just doing a little walk while she takes a little nap. So I wanted to come on and talk about Kegels because I did a post this morning on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube about Kegels. So if there's so many things I could say about Kegels, so I'm going to try to keep this short and direct. But ultimately, what I tell patients is if you are someone that has been told that you have a weak pelvic floor or that your issues like prolapse, frequency, urgency, incontinence, uncontrollable gas, right? If you're unable to control your gas, constipation, if your doctor has told you, oh, you just need to keep Kegling. Well, that's really not good advice. And for a lot of my patients, they don't need Kegels. They actually have a strong pelvic floor. And in fact, some people have a hypertonic or overactive pelvic floor. So now they're already taking that issue and they're actually making it worse. So people will ask, well, how do I know if my pelvic floor is weak or not? A quick way to know if you have pelvic floor weakness, even though you're not supposed to do this for strengthening, is if you're urinating, you should be able to stop your stream of urine. You should be able to control it. Now, people used to think that was a way to strengthen your pelvic floor, to stop and go, stop and go. But now we know that that's actually bad. You do not want to do that. That can actually make your pelvic floor weak and cause issues with urination. So another thing you can do to test your pelvic floor is you can take your finger and you can insert it. So you can insert it vaginally or rectally to test your pelvic floor muscles, right? So you can insert your finger and you can try to contract. So this is where it becomes tricky. If you just want a general idea if you can contract and relax, you can use your finger, no problem. If you're somebody that is trying to look at more of the details, the quality, the excursion, the relaxation, the lengthening, then you're going to want to talk with a pelvic floor physical therapist, see a pelvic floor physical therapist. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, I don't want somebody to stick their finger inside me. I'm so scared. Don't worry, because when you see a pelvic floor physical therapist, they may not need to do any internal exam or any internal treatment. It's totally up to your comfort level. I think that's a common misconception. People think that if you're seeing a pelvic floor physical therapist, you have to have internal work, and that's not the case. For a lot of my patients that have had trauma or they have had some type of injuries, surgeries, chronic pain, I may not even do an internal exam on the first visit. It's totally up to your comfort level. And again, your therapist you'll know you're with the right person because they're going to make you feel comfortable. You're going to only do what you want to do. You should never feel like you have to do something so that somebody can diagnose it, okay? That's not the case. Okay, what is my next thing on Kegels? Because I could talk about Kegels forever. So again, also, once you feel that contraction, that relaxation, great, but that doesn't mean you have good motor coordination. You have the ability to quickly contract if you're coughing, sneezing, right? And that's why a lot of people, especially moms postpartum, because you have a lot of trauma or injury to your pelvic floor, not only during birth, whether that birth is vaginal, cesarean, assisted, or whether you have you don't even have kids, you carry that baby for 9 months, and then now you go through that trauma and that injury. So that's a lot of wear on your pelvic floor. So a lot of people are just told to, just Kegel after. And that's not really good advice, because what does that even mean? And again, just like I said before, you may have a tight pelvic floor. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this. I just had a C-section a few months ago, and I'll tell you, before I had baby girl, I had a tight pelvic floor, and after my cesarean, I have even a tighter pelvic floor. Okay, so one of the things that I have never done, even before I had kids, was Kegels. I don't do Kegel exercises. Why? Because I exercise so much doing glute exercises with lifting weights, doing Pilates, doing yoga. I don't need to do any Kegels. I'm already contracting and relaxing when I'm exercising. If I was to also add Kegels, again, it would make my tight or hypertonic pelvic floor even more tight. So if you're somebody like me that has a tight pelvic floor, you need to focus on diaphragmatic breathing, on that lengthening during the inhalation, and you need to work on pelvic floor stretching. That's why so many people suffer from pelvic floor dysfunction, because they're told to just Kegel. And again, it makes their symptoms worse. So just because you're leaking doesn't mean you have a tight just because you're leaking doesn't mean you have a weak pelvic floor. You may have a tight pelvic floor, and that's why you're leaking, because you're not completely emptying when you're going to urinate. Hello, Dr. Kelly, looking great. Thank you. I look ridiculous because I just worked out, but I appreciate it. I'm all about that, sun protection. I was told to lift weights as soon as I was cleared. Yeah, so if you have the strength to lift weights, that's great. But a lot of times when you go to your 6-8 week checkup postpartum, or you have surgery and you go to your checkup and they say, okay, you're cleared to exercise. Well, what does that mean? Are you cleared to deadlift 50 pounds? Are you cleared to do a double leg lift at Pilates? Are you cleared to do jumping jacks, running, biking? What does that mean? The real question is, do you have the strength to do that? Were you doing those exercises during your pregnancy, so it's no problem jumping back into it postpartum because you were already doing it maybe a week or two ago? Maybe you're somebody like me who had a C-section and you have to wait a certain time period to allow the sutures, everything to heal before you can get back to high level exercise. Now, I can tell you, even me, I worked out up to the day baby girl came. I was at yoga class. I was at a vinyasa yoga class the day she came, and I was working out. But I will tell you, I was stronger during my entire pregnancy than I am almost 4 months postpartum, because I had to take so much time off to let my body heal from the C-section. And also I'm taking care of a newborn, right? Lack of sleep, all of that. So I had to slowly work back into getting into lifting weights and doing all of that, getting back to running. So it's not this, just wait till 4 weeks, 6 weeks and you're cleared. Everybody's going to be different. So your timeline is going to be different based on how strong you are, how weak you are. Are you tight? Are you lax? You have to figure out what deficits or issues you have going on. And that's why when people ask me questions, I always put it depends, because you need to go talk with somebody and you need to see, once you go through someone's medical history, once you understand, once I can see, watch you move, just standing and looking at somebody, I can tell a lot about that person. I can tell you whether they have pronated feet, supinated feet, they have hip weakness, hip strength, they have back pain, they have neck pain, just based on your posture. I can tell a lot of things. Same thing, once I watch you move, how are you walking? How are you bending forward? How are you getting out of a chair? All of these things can tell a lot. So if you're somebody that is interested in wanting help more one-on-one, schedule online with a pelvic floor physical therapist, or if you can, see somebody in person. People always ask, well, how do I find somebody? You can go in network and use your insurance. If you call the back of your insurance card, or you ask your doctor to give you a referral, or if you're in California like I am, you can use direct access and you can go and see somebody directly. Like, for instance, my business is only cash right now because I'm a one-woman show. So you don't need a referral. So again, and then lastly, because I got to go soon because she's going to wake up. Let's see, I've had 4 C-sections. It does take time to build up. Yeah, and then also the more C-sections and the more deliveries you have, the harder it's going to be to regain that strength and come back. Because again, every time you carry for 9 months and have another delivery, that's just more, wear and tear on your body. But that doesn't mean you're not going to get back to doing all the things. One of the biggest things I talk about too is, people have been asking me about what am I eating, what am I doing, and why are you working out so much? And the truth is, the reason I'm doing everything I'm doing is I don't really care, how my scar looks, right? Like I see it, right? I'm not like, I'm going to always wear high-waisted stuff. No, I wear crop tops all the time. Like, I don't care if I have a scar there. What I care about is that I can do everything. Like, I can run, I can jump, I can bike, I can lift my kid, go up and down the stairs. I don't want to be in pain, right? I don't want managing my back pain and neck pain, because it's a lot breastfeeding, carrying, lifting. So the goal should be function and feeling over how you look. And I know that's hard for a lot of people because people are so hyper-focused. Society is so hyper-focused on, looking a certain way. But when you're trying to recover from an injury, focus on function and how you're feeling over the aesthetics. I will tell you, because I know from me personally suffering from eating disorder and body dysmorphia, I am way more into how I feel, again, with IBS and all of that, than how I look nowadays, especially now that I have a kiddo. But the last thing I want to talk about with Kegels and pelvic floor strengthening, because I get this question all the time. Okay, 2 things. The chairs that you sit on that say that you can contract your pelvic floor like 20,000 times. I think it's called the Asmela. I'm totally blanking on the name right now. People always ask me, is it worth it? It's so expensive. And what I tell patients is save your money and see a pelvic floor physical therapist. You're gonna literally spend $2,000-$3,000 sitting on a chair. And now if it helps your pelvic floor, great. Like you can tell everybody all of that, great, that's good for you. But for a lot of people, they're just going to spend that money sitting on a device that's not going to address their issues, and it's not going to be sustainable for long-term results. Second thing, vaginal weights, any type of thing that you insert vaginally or rectally for pelvic floor strengthening. So let's talk about vaginal weights. So they can be really good if you're somebody that has a lot of weakness. They can help with proprioception, giving you feeling down there so you can actually feel that contraction. Because if you have a lot of trauma or surgery or a vaginal delivery, a perineal tear, you may lose sensation or feeling whether you're contracting or relaxing. So having something in there can help with that. But you shouldn't just put a weight in there and then, okay, I can leave it in for 30 minutes. Like I can hold the heaviest weight for 30 minutes. My pelvic floor is so strong. Not necessarily. So, and also strength, just being able to hold that isn't the only indicator for a healthy pelvic floor. You need flexibility, you need coordination, all of these things. Oh, baby girl's waking up. Lastly, PeriFit. So the devices that you insert vaginally or rectally to help you strengthen. So that's using biofeedback. And what I tell patients is I like biofeedback. Biofeedback can be very helpful for people with pelvic floor dysfunction, incontinence issues, especially with kids, if you lack awareness when you're holding and when you're relaxing. But if you just get a device and you don't know what you're doing or what you're looking for, even if you follow the app, it can be difficult. So again, it may help you, and that's fantastic. You may be all about PeriFit, and I think it can help a lot of people too. But you can also take that like $199 and go see a therapist, a pelvic floor physical therapist. So I'm just trying to give people options so they don't feel so lost or so hopeless, because one of the things that I get all of the time and with patients is they feel hopeless. They've already tried everything. They've gone and seen this and this, and they've seen somebody and all of this. And then I'll ask them if they've been doing one little thing, and they say, no, I've never been given that. It's like my mind is blown, because for me, what I'm asking them may be the most important thing for them recovering, and they've never been given it. So again, if you think that your situation is hopeless or that you've already tried everything, I urge you to just stay open-minded, because there are so many different types of medical professionals with different specialties. We've all been trained differently and have worked with different types of patients. So again, let's see. One last question and then I gotta go. I had my last child at 40. He's 3 now. Is it too late? Oh, great question. Is it too late? Is it too late? Never too late. Never too late. And I just had 2 people recently send me messages saying that they had their kids like 14, 15 years plus, and that they've just been watching videos of what I post online, and they can't believe how much better their symptoms have gotten just by watching my videos. They haven't even gone and seen somebody one-on-one. So the truth is that no, it's never too late. And if you don't address whatever issues you have now, they're only going to get worse. And that's one of the reasons why I post so much information on social media, right? I'm not a big fan of posting, but I've gotten so many positive messages about how people saw my videos and it helped them go and get help. And that's really what it's about. Like, you want to make sure that if you're suffering from leaking, urgency, constipation, fecal smearing, stomach pain, hernias, back pain, whatever it is, don't just keep living with it. Go address it, because you can't take care of other people, especially moms. You can't take care of other people if you can't take care of yourself first. And that's like the truth, because it's hard to take care of others when you're in pain, when you're having your own issues. So I just want to get on there. I wanted to talk about Kegels, but I'm getting on the soapbox and I'm going to get off my soapbox. All right. I think baby girl might be awake. And I'm actually going to go work out myself. So, if you have any questions, you want more information, check out my pregnancy prep and postpartum online recovery program. That one has tons of information on the most common disorders that I treat all the time, right? Pelvic, pubic symphysis dysfunction, right? Sciatica issues, prolapse issues, pelvic floor weakness. So if you're looking to learn about actually how to Kegel, different cues, strengthening. If you are somebody that has pelvic congestion syndrome, maybe vulvar varicosities, maybe you're somebody that has hernias or diastasis recti. Maybe you're somebody that's looking for pelvic floor stretching. And if you're like, wait, I already went through pregnancy, peace out, I'm cut up the program. So I also made just a postpartum recovery portion for those people. And while I have no free time, I am trying to take out some of those videos and make little mini courses. So if you're somebody that has TMJ and pelvic floor issues, popping jaw, clicking jaw, neck pain, I'm trying to make a mini course. But all of that is in my pregnancy prep and in my postpartum recovery online programs. If you just want to learn about the basics of diaphragmatic breathing to help with lengthening, contracting your pelvic floor, posture, core, then you want to check out the belly whisperer method. That's where you should start. But I always tell people, which one should I do first if I'm pregnant? If you are pregnant and you really want just some basic information, I can make that program for moms. So it's basically 5 exercises for this issue, 5 exercises for pubic symphysis dysfunction, 5 exercises for SI joint dysfunction. So it's condensed. That way you have enough time to be able to do the exercises. So, and then again, the belly whisperer method has tons of different stuff as well. But if you link in my bio, you can get more information on that or schedule with me. I'm coming back from maternity leave soon and I have some appointments available, but I'm going to be also taking care of baby girl, so I'm not going to be working full time yet. All right, everybody have a great rest of your day.